Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 58. What is up, Mikey Mike?
I almost flew out of my seat. That was so loud. Good morning. I don't want to say happy Monday. Hello, Vinny.
It's a good Monday. We're here. Monday. We're here. That's always good. People like to see us, I think, sometimes.
Most of the time.
Look at all these people tuning in right now. Look at them all flying into the room as we're sitting here. This is great. All right, Mike. Episode 58. Holy cow.
We are flying through these episodes.
Oh, what is going on? Can you believe in 2 weeks it'll be the new year? And we started January 18th of 2022. So 1 month, basically from today, it'll be our 1 year anniversary.
That's incredible. And it just started with a conversation. It was just
a little conversation.
And now, episode 58.
Episode 58, reaching international people, KKFI in Kansas City.
I love you, Kansas City.
Pigskin Podcast Network, based out of good old Canada. All the stuff. The website, vinandmikepodcast.com. Our good friend Viggy Betts, at Viggy Betts.
He was there from the start.
He was. Let's give him a quick little promo here. You know, if you're looking for a great handicapper and you want to bet on some college basketball in this upcoming season, go to Twitter or Instagram at Viggy Betts right now and tell him you're a fan of Vin and Mike, and he will give you a discount off a VIP membership. So check him out at Viggy Betts. So yeah, he's been with us from episode 1, right? Basically 2. So
pretty much from pretty much the very beginning.
Yeah. So it's good. Good old Andy, good guy. You know, I know it's 5:30 here on the East Coast, so I know he's dealing with 2 little girls that are probably jumping on his head at this time.
Sure.
So he usually tunes in post recording. So very good guy. All right, that was our little promo start. We had a huge weekend. We can start anywhere, anyway. We want to start last night and work our way back. Should we start with the good old Big Blue, or do you want to go to Saturday, or do you want to talk Jets, or you want to talk my beautiful, lovely Raiders? Whatever you want to do, Mike. I don't care. We can start wherever you want to go.
I think we're going to start Big Blue because big game for them last night. I think we should start there.
Big Blue, the Giants.
Yes.
So I will tell you, watching the game, and I actually watched the game with my brother. So we both stayed up until the wee hours in the morning, or since we're old, any time past 8 o'clock. So, but we watched the game, and as you know, he's a very big Eagles fan. So he was interested in seeing the game, especially it's interdivision and expects to potentially maybe play one of those teams in the playoffs. Very possible. But I was very impressed with Daniel Jones last night, and I will tell you, and that's just the start. And not that he's going to throw the ball 40 yards down the field and make these big plays, but he was very efficient throughout the game. He made some really good throws. He looked like he was in the rhythm of the game. It just felt like the game wasn't too big for him last night. And I was really impressed by that from the start. I was extremely impressed with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
That team, if you look at it, when they win, it's because Barkley has a game. When they lose, it's because when he doesn't. If that's not an MVP candidate, not saying he's going to win the MVP, don't get crazy. But if you have a voting thing, you got to vote top 5 or top 10. I think he's one of the guys that you have to consider after the big quarterbacks. So he was impressive, hitting the holes, moving the ball, doing all the things that a legit number one superstar running back should do. Really controlled that game. I think he was a very large part. And then the thing of it all, Kayvon Thibodeau, who a beast last night,
Huge
all over the field. Big strip sack fumble, looked like a classic LT kind of move, right? You know, the old LT coming from the blind side of the quarterback, not going for the sack, just going to strip the ball. You know, strips the ball, picks it up, touchdown Giants, and Washington really never recovered after that. You know, they got a little rhythm towards the end. There was, you know, some tough calls there and the refs and all that, but ultimately they never got close after that, and the Giants just rolled basically that whole game. It got close down to the end there. Don't get me wrong, you know, but ultimately this was a Giant team that really impressed me. The only person that picked them on the Sunday Night Crew was Tony Dungy. Everyone else was going.
I saw that. Everyone else picked Commanders.
You know, you got to believe in Tony Dungy, people. You know, even though he was 8-7 in his picks going into that game, you got to believe in Tony Dungy. He always figures out some of these weird games for some reason. But again, I think those were the three big things I took out of it. You know, I thought Jones really, you know, kept control. Barkley showing that he's an MVP, the go-to guy, and Thibodeau playing his, you know, out of his mind. The defense as a whole really stepped up. It was interesting that they brought Landon Collins up from the practice squad because he's a good run support safety, and they felt they needed that against Washington. And there's where Brian Dable is impressive also. You know, and I'll just finish with that, then I'll let you talk. Again, first-year head coach. If you look at all the Giants coaches since Coughlin, they showed it up on the screen last night. I mean, these were, you know, Ben McAdoo and Shermer and Joe Judge. I mean, oh my God, it was like the blind leading the blind there for a few years. But this Dable, 8-5-1 as a rookie head coach. Giants are in the driver's seat. I think, you know, that win and where the other teams are. You know, they got a 2-game lead in the loss column against all those teams, including Washington, because they have the tiebreaker. So it's essentially 2 games there. So you look at all that, they're in the driver's seat to make the playoffs. So get some of your thoughts on the whole thing.
I love all your points, but I looked before the game, they were doing all the percentages. And we talked about this last podcast, Vin, that this game was so crucial to both teams for playoff implications. Whoever won this game, and the Giants, now they have an 88% chance to make the playoffs. If they didn't win, it went all the way down, I think, to 31%. That's how important it was. And we always say that good teams know how to win. That's exactly what the Giants did in the 3 components of Daniel Jones, Barkley, and Thibodeau. I mean, they were fantastic. They really were. That play with Thibodeau was LT-like, and Washington couldn't recover after that. That was the momentum that the Giants needed. All-around great performance. Definitely a momentum kicker for the Giants. It was great to watch. And I have to tell you, the only time when the first quarter or so, I thought Washington had some momentum. Heineke had some good throws. You thought they were going to take it down the field, but the Giants' defense really prevailed. And huge win for them. And we should absolutely be seeing them in the playoffs. And in this year's NFL, anything could happen.
Yeah, you're right. Anything can happen this year's NFL. And we'll roll through each division like we have done every week, because every week it's like a new story. It's like you're written a new episode of Star Wars every week. I mean, it's just crazy, the changes and where we're heading and the potential outcomes. So I don't know if you saw this breaking news before we came on. Jalen Hurts has got a shoulder injury.
Oh.
And most likely will miss the Saturday game against Dallas. It's not major.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to play him because as big of a game as it is, it's not that big for Philadelphia in the grand scheme. I think they basically are in a good position to still clinch that number 1 overall, even if they lose to Dallas, because I think they could come back and just win the next game or the next 2 and roll from there. So that just came in as we came on the air. But,
go ahead.
No, but Heineke, man, he still impressed me. I know he didn't have the greatest game, and Robinson, very impressive. A guy that got shot, as we know, before the season started. Literally took 2 bullets, one in his thigh, one in his buttocks, as Forrest Gump would say.
Say that again, buttocks.
Buttocks, I got shot in the buttocks. Forrest Gump. Brian. I'll never forget. I saw somebody playing fantasy. They're like, I just picked up Brian Robinson. I said, well, your team needed a shot in the ass.
That was good.
Such a corny joke, but it just went. But no, I mean, they have some impressive guys, Washington. Heineke, this kid Robinson's a really good back. You could see he's going to be, as not this year, next year, it's going to transform into a lead back. You can see that's going to happen. They have McLaurin and Curtis Samuel and the rookie Dotson. They have a really nice offense there. They need Chase Young back. You could see that they have some issues there at defense and on especially defensive line. I think there was a time where Barkley had 3 consecutive first downs. They were just, it was like they couldn't stop him, and that's supposedly the strength of Washington. So I think they need some help there. Again, Heineke to me is serviceable. At the same time, I don't know if he's ever going to get you to where you want to be, right, to a Super Bowl. I think that's every team's ultimate plan is to get to a Super Bowl. And do you have a quarterback that's going to get you there? And again, I'm not sure if Daniel Jones is the guy for the Giants at this point. So they need a guy. All these teams now in the NFL, and it's important, need a guy that's gonna throw the ball downfield and complete passes. You gotta take shots.
Sounds very simple, but it's so true.
If you don't have them, if you don't have a guy that can give you a 20-yard shot once in a while or a 30-yard shot, I'm not talking about a 60-yard bomb. Any NFL quarterback could load up and just gun it, but you need to take some big shots, 20, 30 yards downfield. I think Heineke can do that. I've seen it. I just don't know how consistent he's going to be.
Right, it's not the consistency.
Yeah, I want to see Daniel Jones. I thought that was one of the things that the Giants didn't roll with him as much, and I would have liked to seen it because I think it opens up things more for Barkley and himself. He's a good runner as well. So those safeties don't overly pinch, down, right? Because that they can run a little play action and then just go right over the top of the safety. I would have liked to seen them try that, but they never got there. But that's a whole different story. But yeah, Giants, I think, in the driver's seat.
Driver's seat for sure.
They're basically the 6th seed. We know Dallas is the 5 seed with another horrific loss on their end. I mean, holy cow! And we'll go into some of those games in a while, but Washington is still in it, right? Whoever was going to lose that game last night was still
a harder road.
7 seed. So
not possible.
Yeah, so still destiny's in their own hands, right? They went out, they're in. Giants basically win 2 more games and they're in. I don't think anyone could catch them with 10 wins. So at that point, they're in as well. So
and then also what we talked about was that last game against the Eagles. Now that they're going to bench their people.
Well, now that's interesting that you say that because I'm not sure, right? Let's just say,
all right. Well,
let's say they lose now because Hurts isn't playing for Dallas, and Minnesota's, game out, or Dallas is, I don't know.
Right. Yeah,
we have to see. I still think it's a good possibility that they don't play everyone in that final week, and I think it's too. I think it's a good opportunity for the Giants, and I think going to Minnesota this weekend is not impossible anymore. Minnesota's shown that they're very vulnerable. there's no way they should have won on Saturday. Well, we could talk about that a little bit as well.
See how much we have to talk about? Like,
no, man,
it was insane. What happened?
I might tell DraftKings, listen, we're ending our deal just because we have to talk so much. We can't throw in a commercial. We don't need to get paid for this. We need to talk.
All right, you gotta just step it down. Just not this guy. Not this guy. All right.
Yeah. So, real interesting weekend there. NFC, San Francisco basically is in that 3 seed. They got really potential for that 2 seed. Our plays with Minnesota. I think the NFC South, as we know, is a disaster. I think every team lost except the team.
Can you believe
that played
Bucks still in first?
And we said that. We said that they're probably going to go 6-8 and still be in first place.
It's unbelievable. Still in first place.
And I think Carolina's got like the best destiny in their hands in this situation, which is very strange.
Well, that's right because
I think
they're 5-9.
Yeah, and they play. Who they play? They play Pittsburgh. No, they just played Pittsburgh. Who did they play?
They just played Pittsburgh. Let's look at their schedule. Hold on.
I know. I
mean, that's incredible. 5-9, second place. Hold on.
5-9 and competitive.
And competitive. All right. So, we're wrong. They are playing. They're playing. Oh, excuse me. You're right. They play the Steelers.
Yeah.
Now they play the Lions.
That's what.
Saturday at 1.
Yeah.
They play the Buccaneers, which is going to be must. This is New Year's Day football, Vinny.
Sunday night, Buccaneers, Panthers for first place.
Oh my god, yeah, for first place, and then they end the season with the Saints.
Right, which again, the Saints.
That's unbelievable.
I
can't believe that.
The Saints are a weird team because I look at them on paper and think that they should be better than they are, right? Mm-hmm. And they're just not.
Right.
So yeah, the NFC is crazy, but it's settling in. And where it's crazy are the Detroit Lions, are 7-7.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to segue right into that because I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
But they were 1-6. This team has won 6 of their last 7. The only game they've lost in those 7 was the Thanksgiving game to Buffalo. Which
they were competitive. Which
should have went to overtime, and they should have had a better opportunity there. Yeah. Just poor time management, and we'll talk a lot about time management with your Jets as we're going to talk about this. But it's a good team all of a sudden, right? Yeah. I mean, playing much better defense than they did early in the season. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff all of a sudden thinks he's an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's looked really good in this stretch run here. They have very good young receivers, 3 running backs that they use. It's just a very impressive team in every aspect of offense and defense. Dan Campbell's got them really bought into the system. Like everything is going well for them. But with all that said, the Jets should have played better. I'm going to let you start because I just went on a whole big Giant run, and Giant fans are very happy with me right now. So I'll let you go and talk about your Jets, and then I'll throw in my 2 cents.
You had to redeem yourself with the Giants fans because
they thought I was mad at them.
That's right.
But I wasn't. I was just telling you what I saw.
Yeah.
And they came out and won. And to me, they're a team that's going to be in the playoffs. And I'm going to go to MetLife here in a couple of weeks when they're on the road and cheer on the 50-yard line with nobody in the stands but myself.
There you go. Thank you, Vinny.
Yes, they're inviting me there. Watch on the big screen.
With this game, going into it, we joked around, but it's so true that every game is so crucial right now in the AFC because you see one game can make a difference in moving up 2 notches, moving down 2 notches. It's crazy. Zach Wilson is not the guy. At best he was mediocre, what reminded me of some of those passes. That game 500 when you used to play, throw the football in the air and someone would have to like catch it like high up. That's what his passes were like, and he was very fortunate that a couple of those others weren't picked off. He made some really poor choices. I think if Mike White is in the game, I could comfortably say the Jets win that game. His chemistry with Garrett Wilson is not there. I know they were missing Corey Davis, but it was one of those games where you just felt Detroit kind of dominated and the Jets were sticking with them. But the sad part is that all these games, the last 3 games, Vinny, Minnesota, Buffalo, and they were winnable games. They were right in it. But this is where great teams are able to win and good teams kind of just take a step back, and that's what the Jets did. The other thing they weren't able to incorporate was the running game. It was non-existent. Non-freaking existent. And this is where Breece Hall is so missed, right? They couldn't really capitalize on, Knight or Carter. It was just really poor. When the Jets were winning, it was a combination of good run game and pass game, period. Defense, you can't ask them to play more aside from that, and there was a special teams blunder, but defense does everything they can every game. But when you're going 3 and out and you have poor plays, of course your defense is going to become tired. With all that said, they were right there till the very end, and this is where the time management conversation comes in. This is where I go nuts. Because as a coach, there's no excuses. That's your responsibility to make sure that you know where your team is, what the time is, and to make good judgment. They had over a minute left with 3 timeouts in a crucial part of the game. And then they let 20 seconds just go off that clock. And then by the time it got to like 28 seconds, it's like you're left with, why do you have why do you have all those timeouts left? They weren't able to reset. Then they're forced to rush plays. And they were very fortunate to get that last play off barely to the receiver with 1 second left. And honestly, they were lucky they called timeout there because it was so close. But you had to rush it, and then you forced your field goal kicker to kick it. It was just really poor play calling, and that comes down to the coach. So to me, there were many factors why the Jets lost, but as far as coaching and time management, that's inexcusable.
Yeah, and
that's what killed me. We all know. Let me just say one other thing. We all know that Zach Wilson has been mediocre, but with the games they won against Zach Wilson, it was the defense and him just barely, being okay for them to win. Defense was good. Special teams was not that great. And because of, again, you lose games when there's bad penalties and bad coaching. And that's what happened.
Yeah. He made the big play when it was 14-18. Right? I mean, that's really what it came down to. He made that play. And I'm not going to kill him because he made that play and he got them in that opportunity to kick the field goal. So it wasn't like he just totally, was horrible down the stretch there. What was horrible, and you said it, was the time management, because I think about it, is you could be in 4th and 18 there, and you might have 40 seconds left instead of 10 or whatever it was.
Exactly.
And you pick up the first down there, and maybe that's your last timeout, or maybe you don't have any at that point, but you have 40 seconds. Now you can run up, you can spike the ball. Let's say now you have 30 seconds. You can run another play. You can get yourself in a position where your line is more usable, makeable field goal at that point. I was sitting there watching that down the stretch there and saying, where's the timeout management? I get it. You don't need to call timeouts until you reach about a minute to go. You didn't need to call it at the 1:30.
No.
You didn't have to get
that minute mark. So you couldn't even set up.
You get the minute mark with your 3 timeouts, you got to set yourself up correctly. You got to put yourself in the right position. But you're right. Bad penalties. That special teams punt return was ridiculous.
And it happened before New England.
No one touched the guy. Did you notice that there wasn't a single player on Detroit or the Jets that touched Raymond? He caught that ball and ran on a straight line in the end zone. Wasn't even touched. How could he not even be touched? And that's the other thing. That's bad play calling there, too. You know that you made the stop on the goal line. Run the ball 3 times. I don't care. You're not going to, at least get 5 yards, get your punter in a better situation and everything. You got the guy back to the wall, his first game, all this stuff. And it's just crazy. It just made no sense to me. It just, the whole thing made no sense early on. I'm surprised that it didn't become a blowout. I give them credit for, again, the defense kept them in the game.
Oh, 100%.
Yes, there's a misassignment there when they score the touchdown to take the lead. But, I thought good play calling there on Detroit. Got to give them some credit. You just can't sit there and say, oh, it was all the Jets' bad mistakes.
No, the Lions had a good game. Not to discount that.
That was a good play.
Discount that.
You gotta say that was a good play. 4th and inches. Who expects a tight end cross, right? And again, missed assignment by, I don't know if it was Mosley or somebody missed the assignment there on the tight end, and it just ends up, Hawkinson we know is an elite kind of tight end, and that's what you get. So
I just wanted to comment, where do we go from here? We got 3 games left. We got Jacksonville, who's playing well, coming to the Meadowlands on Thursday night. Then we have to go play Seattle in Seattle. And then we have Miami, last game of the season. Could the Jets still make the playoffs? Yeah, they could. But they're going to need some help.
Well, here's what the Jets need to do. The Jets need to be in Miami in a few weeks, in a game behind or tied, and that being the 7th spot. Because if you look at the Chargers' last 3 games, and you can pull it up, Mike, and you'll see it. The Chargers' last 3 games, they're probably going to win all 3 games. They're probably going to win 11 games, and you're going to, that's the end there. You're not going to catch the Chargers.
No,
you're not going to catch the loser of the Bengals-Ravens division winner. Most likely the Ravens at this point, but you're not catching them.
It's all about the Dolphins.
The only shot is the Dolphins now, and you put yourself in that position. But you're going to play a Jacksonville team that Trevor Lawrence, I think his last 4 games, he's got 15 touchdowns and 1 interception, something like that. So he's on fire. He is starting to click with the Doug Peterson offense. They're a game out of first behind Tennessee, where they have the tiebreaker over Tennessee right now. So, they're coming in playing really hard. Now, advantage, short week, cold weather Thursday night. It's, Florida team coming up here. Big advantage for the Jets here. And they need to take full advantage of the big advantage. They need to come out and win this game, because this is the game, to me, if they win, they're going to be right there in Week 18 playing Miami for that final wild card spot. Now, again, there could be some changes. There's a lot, New England, who knows what happens there still. I just think they're going to fade down the stretch here.
Especially after that kind of loss.
We'll go into that in a little bit. I don't think any of the 6 and 8 teams, Pittsburgh, Raiders, Browns, are going to make this ultimate run. And I don't know if 9 and 8 is enough. I think the only way 9 and 8 is going to be good enough is if the Jets and the Dolphins are fighting for that 9 and 8 spot down the stretch here, or fighting, somewhere down there. We'll see how it all plays out. But
one game at a time.
Yeah, this game Thursday night here in good old MetLife is and we talk about big games. This is now ultimately the biggest game of the season if the Jets want to continue to make a playoff run. Mm-hmm. Now, again, you're going to probably, I think Mike White, I don't see how he can play Thursday. I don't think he's got a shot. I don't know if he's got a shot playing the rest of the year. They're saying that his rib is actually broken. I don't even know if it's fractured, but whatever. Either way, until that's a pain tolerance thing. That's, you got to be careful with, his lung getting punctured or something crazy happening. If something happens there, they can't, he's got to get medically cleared and all this stuff. It's going to take a while. So Wilson's going to need to step up. Michael Carter and
the running game has to show.
They just have to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, your receiving core to me is really good. I like the way that Zach was getting the ball to CJ there. Finally, he's getting involved. You have two big tight ends. I would like to see them get them involved more.
Yeah.
More consistent.
Zuma had some nice catches.
Zuma, you got Conklin. I mean,
get those guys involved. Conklin wasn't really involved, but Zuma had a good
game. Get them both involved. Why not? By the way, I made a mistake. Hawkinson is in Minnesota now. That's Detroit's other tight end.
Wasn't even.
I just thought about that off the top of my head. And that's the other thing. They traded, their best offensive player away because they were 1-6. Mm-hmm. They were like, we're just going to reset the season. They didn't even expect to go 6-1, the Lions. Let's be fair here. But this is a team, 7-7, and they're, again, I don't know if they have enough to win to make the playoffs because of where Washington and the Eagles are. And that Washington and Giants are, but we'll see. I think Seattle's fallen out of grace here. They got all kinds of injuries and all this as well. But I want to see the Jets Thursday, Mike, and I'm going to tell you this. I want to see them go out there and beat this Jacksonville team. This is not a great Jacksonville team. This is a rebuild Jacksonville team. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is finally playing like a number one pick, but again, he, to me, this is essentially like his first year as well, right? I mean, the Urban Meyer experiment last year cost him his rookie season, so he's starting to click. He's starting to figure it out. But he's still a young guy, not a great offensive line there. He's got good receivers, but not great offensive line. I want to see that Jet defense, which I think is their strength, come out and smash them around. That's what I want to see. What are you saying?
I appreciate the enthusiasm. Listen, we're not out of it yet. There's still a chance. And like I said, the saving grace for the Jets is that win against Miami earlier in the year without Tua. We hold that tiebreaker. We said earlier in the year, Vinny, that it very well could come down to that last game against Miami. Now you just got to take care of business. 3 games left, 1 game at a time. Start with Jacksonville, go to a Seattle team that's been struggling, and then set yourself up to win against Miami. It's possible. We just got to be optimistic. That's it.
They're all winnable games here. They're all winnable down the stretch. There's no reason for them not to be in this game. I just can't see them not winning Thursday. They have to win.
They have to.
They have no choice. If they don't win, just take the season and say, all right, we're moving on to next year. Because you can't, unless you're going to go out to Seattle. I see that just kills the whole momentum. I think you beat Jacksonville, get the 10 days off, you go out to Seattle, you beat their asses, and then you come back and you beat the crap out of Miami. You win 3 in a row. You go 10-7. You get in the playoffs, and you get wiped out in the first round. But who cares? With that said, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is my go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season. We have the same game parlays, easy and fast payouts, player prop options. We do our pick anytime touchdown, one guy from every team every week. We're getting closer. We're getting closer, Mike. I think they got like 7 out of like 10 or something. We're getting there. One of these days, we're gonna hit like 12 and cash in a big ticket for everybody. All right. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. I think tonight we got to do something with the Packers and Rams. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll talk to Crazy Guru who texts us at 4:00 in the morning and then texts us at 9:00 at night. I don't know when this guy sleeps.
I love when he's like thinking about something, he'll text and he'll get all excited about it. I love his enthusiasm.
He's like, let's do a bet together. Me and you are sleeping, drool hanging off our face. He's out all fired up. But download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TPPN. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TPPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. And see show notes for details. And before we continue, go to vinandmikepodcast.com now. Click on the Vin and Mike store and get yourself a T-shirt, a mug, a phone case holder,
stickers,
a laptop, book thingamajiggies. There's all kinds of stuff there. We're really excited. We're any proceeds we're making, we're donating. I'll announce the charity next week and all that. All right. One more thing. Today, the contest is over, and I think let's check. I think we only had 2 entrants, which means those 2 people are going to get the book. They're going to get it. Let's see.
That's amazing. You snooze, you lose.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. And that would be correct. All right. So the winners. The winners receive a free audio copy of Kevin Bryant's Spies on the Sidelines. And again, if you are a fan of a great football book, for a holiday gift or for someone, maybe you found out recently your boss is a football fan and he can't stand the Patriots about Spygate and Deflategate and all that. This is a great book. It's Spies on the Sidelines by Kevin Bryant. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. Check it out. Google it, all that stuff. But our winners, and I will message them both after the show here tonight. We have Anthony Louis Peluso. That's his tag there. So he's going to get a free audiobook. And Golden_Honey_11 are winners of the free audiobooks for Kevin Bryant's Spies on the Sidelines. So I will reach out to them both after the show, tell them how to get the audios, free promo codes we got, and they'll get a free book.
Look at that.
For the Vin and Mike podcast. So congratulations. Very good.
See what good things could happen when you listen to this show?
That's right. And we've been pushing it to a lot of people. We've been pushing it out on our social media. I know we have a lot of people that are fans of the show, friends of the show. They didn't enter. That's their fault. I am not feeling bad for any of them. They could take their steaks and shove them down their throats and all that other stuff. They can run on their treadmills and get on their bikes and whatever they do, but they don't want to enter. This is what happens.
Take your steak. I can't take it. I can't.
You okay there? It turned purple. Take a drink. Take a breath.
Oh my God. Oh.
Don't throw up on the show.
Oh man. Oh.
Let it alone. Just laugh. Don't hold the laughter in. Oh, okay. Breathe. You all right?
I'm good, thank you.
I like the Puma sweatshirt, by the way. It looks very nice. I got Under Armour. My sponsor's Under Armour.
My sponsor's Puma.
All right. Back to the show now, where we were. All right, so I'm going to tell you what was happening to me yesterday.
Oh, here we go, Mr. Raider. Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what
let's hear. Yeah.
17-3. I think this is honestly, Mike. I think this is like the score that we lead every single game.
Can I just interrupt you for one? I got to tell you the funniest thing, and then you could go ahead.
Yeah.
What was great was they're doing. I'm watching yesterday, and I guess I was watching another game, and they put on that Raider game. Like, the Raiders are up, 17, and some announcers like, oh no, they're up by that much. That's not a good sign. Go ahead.
I tell you that seems like it's the score. They score 17 points at half. It seems like every week, 17-3, 17-0. I can go through all those games. I'm sitting there going, all right, let's come out. We're much better than this New England team, in this first half. Let's move the ball here still. We got Josh Jacobs. We got Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr. Let's do the things. And the freaking, I don't know, it was the first possession or second possession of the second half. I don't know what it was. They go run the wide receiver screen, and he doesn't see the guy on the inside step in, pick the ball, pick six, 17-10 before he could blink. And at this point, I'm going, here we go again.
Yeah, of course you are.
Their team is going to do the same crap they've done all season. We're going to blow another 14-point lead. I'm going to lose my mind. I wasn't even upset. Because I felt that this was what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, it was 17-13. I don't even know what the score was. All I know is we were down 24-17, and I'm going, we haven't scored a point in the second half here. Derek Carr can't do crap in the second half. Josh McDaniels is a bum. He doesn't know how to call a freaking second half. Being a head coach is about second half adjustments. The guy can't adjust his freaking underwear and might as well anything else. I'm just like out of my mind. I'm not even, but honestly, I wasn't mad. I wasn't yelling at nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So now we're starting to move the ball here with less than 2 minutes to go. We have the ball, moving it downfield. And I thought the prior possession on that, I thought New England was ultra conservative and didn't take a shot on third down.
Right.
Well, I would have just thrown it down the field. I didn't think they needed to roll Mac Jones out and do the little slide. I didn't like that call on their end. But again, whatever. Our ball. Here we go. Moving it down. And 37 seconds left. Carr makes this phenomenal pass down the left sideline to Keelan Cole, who's our fourth receiver. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, I don't know if that foot's in.
I saw that replay.
I'm looking at it like 1,000 times, and I'm going, they're going to call that incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's incomplete. I'm like, I'm at the point, that nothing positive is going to happen ever again, right? So they call it a touchdown. I was like, now our best player is our kicker. Daniel Carlson's an all-pro kicker. Only Justin Tucker is better than him. I don't care what anyone says. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm a little nervous now that, he's going to miss this extra point, but he just drills it like right down, like no doubt, boom, tie it. So I'm like, all right, not that much time left. Let's get a good kickoff here. They kick it off, terrible kickoff, all this stuff. I mean, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. All right, so they played well. They're playing a good, much better defense than they did against the Rams.
Right.
I think they learned a little bit. So now there's 3 seconds to go, and New England's on the 45-yard line. Now here's when mayhem happens, and if no one saw this, you got to go watch this.
You have to.
I'm sure everyone that listens to us has seen this, but Ramondre Stevenson gets the handoff. Now, if you watch the play, as he's cutting over the line, Chandler Jones dives and misses the tackle. All right? So Chandler Jones misses the tackle. Stevenson now takes off down the right sideline. And I'm going, oh, my God, he's going to run in. We're going to lose this game. I'll throw my hands up in the air. And now I'm like, I felt like now we have a shot. Now I'm like, oh, here it goes. He's going to run in on a touchdown, on a draw play. He gets to the point where he could get tackled. He laterals the ball to Myers. And I'm thinking, all right, they're going to try to see if they got room. No room. Just fall down. We
go to overtime. Yeah. Right.
Myers decides to throw the ball, attempt to throw the ball to Mac Jones, like 20 yards across the field. First of all, the ball not within 10 yards of him. And there's Chandler Jones, the guy that just dove and missed Stevenson, standing there, catches the ball, turns. Here's Mac Jones, who's a decently sized guy, but Chandler Jones is 6'5", 270 pounds.
A bowling pin.
Just freaking throws him back. And I'm like, I was just jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, we won this game on this play. Now, phenomenal win, all this stuff. I'm not letting Carr off the hook. He was, again, awful in the second half. There's no reason just to score 7 points, especially with 37 seconds left. So that's the first thing. McDaniels, tired of him and his offense in the second half. The reason we don't have 10 wins is because of those two schmucks, all right? That's really what it comes down to. All right, so I'm not going to even dwell on that because we won and all this other stuff. All right. Now, here's the thing that makes no sense to me. And everyone talks about this, and I think you know this as a Jets fan. Belichick is notorious for situational football, right? Yes. They practice it. Rodney Harrison talks about it on Sunday night. Willie McGinnis talks about it on NFL Network. All his former players talk about it. This was a situation that they should have practiced, right? Time's running out. What do? We send them ball. But here's the big kicker. And this is the one where everybody's got to really pay attention. Bill Belichick hired Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to run his offense. With 3 seconds to go in a game, and you're 55 yards away, and you're tied, why are you handing the ball off at all? Why aren't you, if you're going to do anything, you throw a Hail Mary, if anything? And I don't know if you want to do that because a fumble, anything bad can happen. Kneel on the ball and go to overtime. That's the right call there. That's the call. You go to overtime. You don't hand the ball off. So this, to me, is where Belichick thinking he's getting all fancy. I'm going to bring in the former defensive coordinator and my former special teams guy, and they're going to run my offense and show you guys that, I don't need Josh McDaniels or Tom Brady. I've won Super Bowls by myself, and, I can do all this stuff. Well, guess what? You can't. And you hired this moron to run your offense, and he ran a moronic freaking play. And, Myers took full blame and said, I made a terrible mistake. But it shouldn't even gotten to that. Should have just kneeled the ball, went to overtime, and went from there. And, and it's not like the Raiders had all this momentum. They were barely scoring. They weren't
barely scored. I mean, the last play was so close. Now you make a good observation, Vin, because everyone's pointing their finger at Meyer, and yes, he took accountability as he should. But that's coaching.
Yeah,
to be in your ear to not run a play,
and Belichick should be overruling it. Just like when I yell at Josh McDaniels for seeing press coverage on his defense, and you're the head coach, you're responsible.
Right. Exactly.
Tell your defensive coordinator, listen, I need 4 guys back on that goal line. That's what McDaniel should have done against the Rams. Belichick should have said, timeout. Listen, take a knee here. We're going overtime. Enough of this. What are we doing?
100%.
But like I'm saying, what is the point of running the ball there? You got to go for 55-yard run. What you
have to have confidence in your team. I mean, this was a team that
you're going to throw the ball at that point if you want to score.
No, I'm saying confidence in to go to overtime and win.
Of course.
Yeah.
But they should have taken the knee there. They should have taken the knee. But we're going to live now for the next 30 years of our lives. And again, a New England Raiders game from the cheating Tom Brady tuck rule. Now we have, I don't know what we're going to call it.
What are we going to call this?
I have no idea.
We should have a contest in our Instagram. We'll have What would you name this game?
We'll have Anthony and Golden Honey tell us.
Anthony and Golden Honey tell us.
They're the only ones that participate in anything. No, but in all seriousness, I think we should. I think we'll put something out there and see if we can come up with a name. And whatever name we come up with, we'll tweet it to a bunch of people and see if it catches on. We know it won't, but hey, we'll have fun.
I love it.
But
that wasn't the only game. But
what? No, I mean, listen, this is why I'm angry about those other games. Because this team could have, let's just say they blew 2 of those other 4 games.
It would still be up there.
They'd be 8-7, right there with Miami and the Chargers and the Jets and New England. Now we're sitting here at 6-8, and we're behind. And it's going to take a miracle to have a shot. And I think, we have 2 of the best offensive players in the AFC, if not the best at their positions in the AFC. I'm not gonna say that Adams is better than Justin Jefferson. I'm not gonna say Josh Jacobs is better than Barkley or McCaffrey. But in the AFC, it's hard to find guys better than Jacobs and Adams. And in the right situation, why not win some games with those guys? I've seen it. We won a lot of games. We scored a lot of points with those 2 guys. That's what really aggravates me about this team. Because this is a playoff team last year that added a huge number 1 receiver, one of the best receivers in football, if not the best in some people's minds. And the team has taken a step back because of poor second half play across the board. And again, that goes to the quarterback and the coach. And we can throw them both right out the door once January 8th or 9th comes, whatever. You can fire Carr, fire McDaniels, cut Carr, whatever you want to call it. Throw them both out, and they could both head to New York and be the Jets' new head coach and quarterback combination.
Oh, stop. Let the Jets get through their regular problems right now. Sorry. They're trying to get better, okay?
Oh, sorry. All right. Now, do you want to continue talking football, or should we flip a little bit here?
I think we should. We're getting towards the end. I think we have to give the World Cup respect because that was something.
All right. So our good friend, JB, John Bruckner, who we know listens to the show, enjoys, texts, and gives us, his 2 cents on things. He's an honest, good guy. We appreciate everything he's done for us through the years and all this stuff. Huge Argentina fan. He's I don't know if he was born there. Was he born there?
He was born there. That's why his allegiance is to them.
Yeah. So he is he's from Argentina. He's lived in New York, basically in New Jersey, this area, for as long as we've known him. And he said to us before the World Cup that Brazil or Argentina were going to win.
Those words.
And I think I specifically said, well, he's a homer, and we knew he was going to pick Argentina. And I said, probably Brazil will win this World Cup by what I'm hearing, but didn't happen.
No.
Argentina wins on penalty kicks. But forget about all that. What a freaking – let me tell you. I watch soccer – once in a while when nothing else is on, early in the morning, because it's a European sport, so it's usually on early in the morning on like ESPN on like a Saturday or Sunday, like 8 o'clock. And if I'm waking up and having a little breakfast and relaxing, I'll pop it on just to check it out. That's about all I watch, and that's once in a while. And then I find myself watching the World Cup every 4 years, pretty intently too. I enjoy it. This I'm telling you, this match was intense, as fun, as a World Series game, as an NBA Finals. I don't want to say as a Super Bowl because I think a Super Bowl is a whole different level, but it was for a finals, for a sport, and this Mbappe on France and Messi, who's one of the greatest players ever. The whole thing, everything that comes along with it, it was phenomenal. What a match! I didn't think France had a shot of coming back when they were down 2-0. And then the penalty, Mbappe, and then he does the super fly kick to tie it. He looked like a UFC fighter out there, the way he threw that leg up there and ties it. Then it goes to this overtime and all this. I mean, I want to talk to you a little bit about those overtime rules, but what a match, what a fun, penalty kicks, just
got everything.
I almost
all the boxes.
I almost missed the beginning of Red Zone because it ran so long.
Yeah. I was curious, with the stupid NFL contracts, if it kept going, what they were going to do. I wonder how that would have worked with it. How they just cut off things. There was no way you could cut that off. I was thinking about it as we got closer and closer. I was really thinking about it.
They probably, they moved all the post-game stuff to FS1.
Yeah.
So they worked out for them. I guess, and they knew at worst the game would run 3 hours. And that's basically what it did, right? I mean, penalty kicks went right up to the 3 hour mark. So the overtime rules are a little strange for me. I like that they get to play 15 minutes the other way, the halves and all that. I don't like deciding those kind of games on penalty kicks. It just, I don't know. It's like the penalty shots in hockey too. I don't know. It just aggravates me. I want to see them continue to play the game. I know everyone's like, what do you want them to play until they die? Yes, keep playing. After those 2 15-minute, halves, then do sudden death. Just play, I don't know, other 15-minute halves until someone scores. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So you're really comparing it to hockey in a way, like playoff hockey, where
it's the finals, right? I get it.
You just want them to win because they've played so hard. You don't want it to be a penalty kick to decide.
It's like on a lucky kick, right? Or a guy.
I'm in agreement with you.
A guy gets so nervous he misses altogether. The one guy on France totally missed the net. That net's as big as, I mean, it's huge. The guy missed. That's nerves.
It's all nerves.
So
no, Vinny, I agree with you. The only thing I'll say is that I like how there's not the penalty kicks right away, but you're right. In a finals competition, and both teams, like in a game like this, it should be won by the heart and just like a goal. I think it would have been – I agree with you instead of a penalty kick.
I don't know.
I'm not saying it was a letdown because penalty kicks are very –
No, that was exciting too.
It was extremely exciting, but I get what you're saying with the overall game and the perception.
I'd like to know what our soccer fan friends think. I'd
love to hear from them.
Like Dave and Alvaro and JB, those guys, they religiously watch soccer. They play soccer. They coach soccer, like all that stuff. I like to see what their thought process on that. And they might say, no, that's the great part of it is the penalty kicks. I don't know. To me, I just wanted to see more. Maybe because it was such a good game, and you had probably the 2 best players in the world playing against each other, right? I know Neymar is another big name they always talk about, and of course, Ronaldo and the England guy there, Harry Kane, all those guys, I started learning all these names now,
You know what we should do? I know it's not the caliber of the World Cup, but we should go to a Red Bulls game next year.
Is Mbappe going to play?
No.
Oh. I just want to watch him play. That guy.
I think he would be great to watch live. But we'll go see some live soccer.
Where does he play? He plays for that France team over there in Europe, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Saint Germain, whatever, Mancy's fancy team.
No, it was everything that you wanted in a soccer game. It was awesome. And
by the way,
yes,
I can't wait till you go back and watch this and see how purple you turned on the camera that you almost passed out.
When you made me laugh before, it was just ridiculous. Yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
By the way, Anthony had a parlay. He just wrote, "Thank you."
Anthony's parlay. He hit everything that he needed.
There it is. He was so excited. He asked me, what do I think about the Raiders? And this is when it was, I think it was 17-17 or whatever it was at that point. And I said to him, I wouldn't bet the Raiders against the high school team anymore. And that's when Stevenson just like ran in for like the touchdown, and he was like, "Oh." So, but he held on. He didn't cash it out. He held it, and he cashed out. I think it was a 7-team parlay.
Yeah,
all money line kind of pick. So
he's hit some good ones, Anthony.
Congrats to him. He's ruling the daily fantasy league.
Because that's his thing. He
loves it.
He's a scholar of the fantasy. You hear that, Anthony? You are a scholar of the fantasy football.
I wish he'd win one of these huge contests so we can pop him up there that he's a new millionaire.
I hope so.
He doesn't enter those contests because he doesn't like that amount of entrants. I know how he is. That's why he only likes like 10-team fantasy leagues.
All right,
like 30,000 people in a thing.
Too much
for him. He loses it.
Yeah.
But one last thing before we go.
Sure.
Let's just, Bills are the 1 seed.
Yes.
They've got the Bengals in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I know they're playing them. I think
that potentially could be for the number 1 overall seed because the Bengals already beat the Chiefs.
Okay.
But they would need the Chiefs to lose one of these final 3 games.
Right.
Which the Chiefs and Chargers have very favorable schedules in their final 3 games. So I think it's going to be hard for the Bengals or the Bills to get the 1 seed if the Bengals beat the Bills.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs will just pop in, stay up there, and get the 1.
And
the top 3 teams right now in the AFC.
Sorry, who are my top 3?
No, those are the top 3 teams right there. Chiefs, Bengals, and
Bills, and Bengals.
I mean, there's no one else right now.
No.
The Titans are lucky they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it was 7-7. Come on.
I mean, the Jaguars might pass them.
It seems I agree with you that the Ravens are sitting pretty comfortable now with 5 losses.
Yeah.
But the Chargers are rising up for sure. But you're right. With it's going to be that 7th spot, Vinny. The Chargers are not losing, right, with their schedule. So it's interesting because I think the Dolphins have to play the Patriots not this week but next week. All the Jets have to do is just win 1 game at a time. If you win the next 3 games, you're in the playoffs. That's it.
Exactly.
This is it.
You get the 10 wins, you're in. We
talked about this earlier about this weeks before. 10 wins gets you in.
Yeah, 10 gets you in.
Still got a chance. Come on.
I think it's the same for the Giants still. I think they still got to win 2 more games. But I think where they're lucky is they got a lot of tiebreaker advantages now.
Yeah. They're in a good place.
A bunch of teams get 9 wins, they're gonna be in over them.
Right.
So all right. Very good show here, Mike. It was a
great show. A lot of laughter, good commentary. Episode 58, can't believe it.
Next time, just laugh. Let it all out. Don't hold it in. No one will be offended if you laugh at them.
Oh, thank you. I'm proud to laugh at you every show.
You hurt me all the time. If people only knew how much you pick on me when we're not.
Oh, okay. Oh, go watch Air Bud. All right.
We haven't said hi to Justin Bieber in a while. Okay.
I know. I gotta say hi. All right. See what we do? It's great.
Very good.
See you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye. What the fuck? You just left. Oh man. Hey.
Hit the wrong button.